Hey guys, welcome to A Day in the Life. My name is Zain, I'm a medical student at the University of Manchester, and it's Wednesday. I wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning and spend the next 10 to 15 minutes negotiating myself out of bed for a busy day ahead. I went out last night and I'm currently on 4 hours of sleep, but I push past the groggy feeling, hydrate, and head to make some breakfast. I do the dishes and throw eggs in a pan with tomatoes and cheese. I literally eat eggs every day. I love them so much. They're just so simple. But because my sleep deprived self doesn't notice the pepper grinder not being screwed on, this happens. After I spend the next few minutes cleaning up the mess, I inhale the extremely peppered up eggs and quickly get changed because as usual, I'm behind schedule. At 8:30, I meet my friend who's been waiting for me to go to our 9 a.m. anatomy dissection. We're doing the axilla, breast, and muscles of the shoulder and upper arm in anatomy today. We get on the bus to university at 8:40, and I pray that we aren't late. The med school is crazy strict about attendance, it's honestly stress. We get there 8:58 with 2 minutes to spare, and rush inside the Stopford building.
Is there a protest?
Sadly, I'm not allowed my phone in the actual dissection room, and obviously can't film the specimens or anything. But to sum up, there were 3 stations with an anatomy demonstrator at each. One with the axillary region, one of the axio-appendicular muscles, and one of the scapulohumeral and arm muscles. We identify and study their parts, origin, vascular supply, all that stuff, and then get quizzed by the demonstrator there and then. I find that being properly tested during that session and then having a discussion about it is probably the most useful part of anatomy that week. We aren't doing any proper hands-on dissections yet. That starts next term. At 10:30, I have a one-to-one meeting with our PBL tutor who runs each week's PBL sessions. But first, I go get a caramel latte for the vibes. It's an end of term meeting to discuss our performance during PBL, our exam results, and to create an action plan for the exam season. I don't know what to expect, but I make my way into the AV Hill building for the meeting. It actually looks really cool from the inside, but there's so many professors and PhDs here, it feels illegal to go around filming. The meeting goes quite well, and I was pleasantly surprised.
We've had anatomy today, and I had a supervisor meeting with my PBL group advisor. It actually went quite well. The meeting went quite okay. I was surprised. She said she was happy with how I was doing.
But because being a doctor is such a collaborative job, she felt that I needed to encourage more discussion in our group and develop those softer skills of mine. Which is a fair judgment, I agree. We work out an action plan and she's happy with my exam prep, so I head off to the library to see the rest of the PBL group for a study session. We usually book these massive study rooms to group study in a couple times a week, but it never ends up being that productive. This is us from the day before. We basically did the same thing today, except it was snowing before, and I can't lie, I was way too excited about the snow. It was the first time I'd ever seen it falling. Everyone's working on their own things today, and doing it in this big group isn't the most efficient, but I feel like it's more fun than just sitting on your own.
Who would cheat on Matt in med school?
Of course.
I know you're on the vlog. You've just admitted that on the vlog. How to get away with cheating in med school.
I'm Zane's biggest fan.
Hi
Zane, I know you're not going to really
Zane, did you speak to your accountability partner recently?
Anyways, all of them leave at some point in the next hour. I also feel really tired and need to sleep, but I decide to stay and get some more work done. Since I've barely done any of the week's learning, I need to bang out half of it today and the rest tomorrow. I plan to have 2 more solid hours of studying right now and a few more in the evening. After going through and vaguely categorizing the intended learning outcomes, I realized that it's not too bad. The main things we're focusing on are just the basic concepts of cancer. So I jumped straight into the PowerPoints about the cell cycle and the cellular changes that come with cancer. I open up my question document in split screen, and as usual, I start going through the information for the first time. What I do differently today is that I go in with the aim of creating fewer questions than usual and try to make the questions more effective from the start. I find that I always make way too many and it ends up being a barrier when I feel like I have too much to practice. It's a narrow line though, because you also don't want to miss out on any of the content either. I'm struggling to keep my eyes open at this point and can't process any of the details today, so I take a 10 minutes rest, get motivated, and start over again. Here, the lecture recording isn't really helping me understand the specific roles of cyclins B and D and their associated CDKs on cell proliferation, so I refer to the pre-made notes by Yafa that I usually use. I always tell myself that effectively understanding the broader concepts first is key before trying to whiz through it all. But to make this even more effective, what I do is I try answering the questions I'm making for this lecture there and then. And because I test myself on what I've just tried to understand, I'm connecting the dots, I'm increasing my retention, and my understanding of the topics that I'm studying is a lot better than it would have been if I'd just been reading about it. I continue gradually going through the several lectures and making questions until I've gone through all the 5 cellular changes for cancer mini lectures. First study session done. I leave the library at 2 p.m. and go home now. I warm up some food and end up watching a bit of Suits. In the background, I've been listening to Stephen Bartlett's podcast with Google X's Chief Business Officer, Mo Gaudat, and despite the reservations I had from the clickbaity title, his life story was actually very engaging. Anyways, I keep listening to the interview at 2 times speed and head to the gym at 4:30. After an hour-long leg workout and all the lack of sleep, I unwillingly took a nap for a few hours. Waking up from the nap at around 7 p.m, feeling really refreshed, I take a quick shower, make coffee, and commit to studying for the rest of the night, but then get sidetracked by the peoples outside the room. After chilling for another 30 minutes, we collectively decide that work needs to be done. It's raining way too much to go anywhere outside, and the kitchen's too busy, so we create this cute den in the middle of the hallway and try to get stuff done. Our butts start to hurt halfway through, so at 10 p.m. the group moves into my room. I continue going through this week's lectures, and even though I start to create questions, I'm finding it difficult to concentrate on both understanding and doing the whole testing myself thing at the same time. So I let myself off here. I simply just go through and understand BRCA1 and the genetic side of neoplasia using the lecture recordings and Yafa's notes, no questions. And this is an important lesson that I learned a while back. Sometimes you need to allow yourself to study in less effective, non-productive ways, like just watching a video or simply reading through. For me, I prefer 70% of my time to go to active recall and making questions and going through content in that way. But the other 30% of my studying can be a lot more chill. Having that 70 to 30% balance is crucial. And in the long run, this mindset actually helps with staying consistent and being motivated throughout. Chocolate milk is the fuel of choice tonight as I finish up the second lecture series on the genetics of cancer and do some more of the neoplasia lectures. We close at around 12:30 and I decide to leave the rest for tomorrow. Thank you for watching the vlog if you've gotten this far, give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and have a great day.